Since January of last season, I think you brought in 9 new players, plus Nico O'Reilly's emerged. That's 10 new players. Many of those are in your first team, or certainly, frontline players. Would you say you're ahead of where you hoped you'd be, or to be competing for the Premier League in the last week? Is that sort of, did you have a feeling you could do it this quick? Because that's a massive sort of implant of players.
Always you have the hope to at the end. But I said last time it took a little bit time to visualize really new players set up perfect in the way you have to do some pattern defensively, offensively. So because change a lot of shapes, wingers, no wingers, with the inverse football from outside, inside, and from many different ways. In the past were more ABC. But it's because there's a lot of new players, and maybe I took a little bit time to. That is the best way for the team, or the team feels safe, because at the end, always where I look for since I'm manager, do something that the players feel comfortable. It's not what I say. It's what I say because I believe you have to convince them. But if it doesn't work, you have to change it slightly, a little bit. But it's what it is. Sometimes the process, I'm pretty sure next season will be more stable. Because I know the players better.
Hi, Pep. How important? You've had a couple of title races that have sort of gone down to the last day of the season. I mean, how important is it that you take it to that? I mean, the pressure sort of mounts, doesn't it, if you get to the last day?
No, but we know it's today Arsenal winning. If we don't win tomorrow, we will congratulate Arsenal. So, and we would like to arrive. Crystal Palace away is always Crystal Palace away. We play at home. I would not say Aston Villa is easy, but completely the opposite. So United is just extraordinary, exceptional, but we will love arriving the people come at 3 p.m. next Sunday. Maybe what will happen here in Selhurst Park will be nice, to extend this 4 or 5 days. The hopes that maybe we can win the Premier League again. So that is what we learn, but I know the task is tomorrow will be so difficult.
You said on Saturday after the game, Pep, that a trip to Bournemouth is a bit like going to the dentist.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I take it you don't like going to
no,
the
dentist. No, always I've been so. It's an analogy to express the how difficult they are. So they attack quick. They don't let you breathe, and maybe always when that teams, I think when they are so intense, always the fatigue, the amount of games, they can reduce a little bit this tempo. But with 10 days to prepare that game, I expect a more intense, aggressive, and demanding team. And then you have to be smart to read what you have to do.
Hi, Pep. In your previous title races that have gone to the final day, the final week here, you've been ahead. But I was looking back at when you played at Barcelona in the Dream Team with Johan Cruyff. You had 3 title wins there where you were behind, like Madrid at Tenerife and then Deportivo, obviously.
Oh, yeah, you go to the ChatGPT, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much better than Wikipedia. What do you take from those? What do you remember about those times, and what do you sort of maybe take from those experiences heading into this week?
I prefer when we have in our hands, because you don't have to take a look and after. And always I think it's better. It's better depending on us. So it's true. But the situation never exists. I said again, important is just to try right in that moment. I will be. If we arrive with James said 9 new players, playing a lot of minutes, being at the end, being there, it's good. It's really good. But once we are here, why do we want to extend 1 more week? No, a few more days to arrive in more people, But yeah, I prefer it to be in our control, because when it depends on the other one, it's something you cannot do. But you never know. The important is after to be. I remember Johan Cruyff before that game. I said, "We know our game. There's no other hand, but we cannot lose the Premier League because they don't win and we don't win. That just cannot happen. We have to." It's the same, no? That game is, mindset is, let's win the game to arrive in the last chance, and after that, guys, win our game. Don't focus on anything else, and after that, like it's no our control, wait.
Just talking about those Johan Cruyff days, like he's still now a massive reference for Barcelona, like how they play, like when you were there and even after that. When you leave here, whenever that is, would you like to be sort of what Johan Cruyff is to Barcelona? Would you like to be Manchester City's Johan Cruyff, basically?
Nobody's like Johan. It's a big compliment you say that, but nobody's like him. The charisma, personality. He changed the mentality for two clubs, Ajax and Barcelona, as a player and as a manager. So, but with a charisma that is impossible to replicate, and the self-confidence and many aspects that he had, and it's impossible.
Pep, it's Andoni Iraola's last home game tomorrow night as well. Does that make it more difficult for you going down there, knowing that there'll be such a big atmosphere for him?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the gratitude I will have, because I made an unbelievable job, but honestly unbelievable. So I'll put Bournemouth in another step, and consistency and everything, and so play with incredible courage, without fears and everywhere. So in Anfield, here, in Etihad, in Emirates, and whatever done, the game plan. So I make an incredible job, and of course, but in the last stages always there are, last games for many people. Bernardo, John will be next week and next Sunday, so that's good. That's good. It's happened. So I'm pretty sure that Andoni will get the appreciation for the job has done.
Have you ever thought about what kind of farewell you might want?
Sorry?
Have you ever thought about what kind of farewell you might want if you knew you were leaving?
Next, Ale. Always you don't mean that. So many times. I have one more year. Tell me, Sam.
Yeah, something different. You said before it took a while to visualize the players, and you eventually found a way that the team felt safe. What time of the season was that? What was it that you thought, okay, this is it, this is the way we need to carry on? What changed?
2 or 3 months ago. We play a lot of injuries and wingers for sure to adapt and to have more control. We put, I always say the fullbacks inside, we put the wingers inside. That normally never happened in my career. I always split with the wingers wide, and in some moments feel comfortable, but we are more comfortable play with the wingers wide, especially when Jeremy's, Antoine's or Savio's are in this shape, like aggressive and that. But not just in attack, in defense. We prove this season, I say many times, the principles are the same in the terms of like Johan, attack. Always we want that in the, no craziness or some control, but attack. But the way we press, the way we did it was different ways. And to find the perfect feel comfort, maybe we took more time.
So it was when you had it was the period when you had no wingers because they were injured, you say. But then obviously recently you have been playing with wingers. So what was it that you were able to take from that period with no wingers and then have it be the same even now with wingers? What was that essence really?
Well, always adapt for the wingers, help us, when against man markings that all the team can have, and when you contact for the people up front better, is quicker, is better, and you play with the wingers is better because we are protecting just in case you lose the ball. And the players like Antoine's or Jeremy's, they have good to keeping a 1-against-1 in this type of balls. Always you can break that man marking teams like many times happen. So, but when we don't have it, always we try to make overlaps in certain positions with midfield players, with fullbacks, and I don't know. So the season has been many different ways, like never happened before, I would say, in my career. So I always have a more or less pattern, one slightly detailed, but here we change, which is more. Then the other side has been fun, have been more entertaining, I would say.
That's two, Jake. Pep, obviously a newly expanded stand is due to open on Sunday. There's a lot of talk among fans wondering whether the club might name it after you. Would it be a great honour if the club did something like that?
Something what?
Like name the stand after you. Obviously they've got the Colin Bell stand. If
I have no idea of that. No. They don't have to do anything, honestly.
I'm just saying 20 trophies in 10 years.
That's good. But they don't have to. No. The important thing in our lives. I'm older than you. That is when you look back and said, "Wow, well, you can look with a big smile and big. That is good. And Bernardo can feel that, and John can feel that. So we spoke about last days and said, what we live, So when you are old grandfather, and you look back and said, my life was, and you can laugh, for the memories. That is the most important thing in the life. And whatever happened, this part of the season, and when I will extend my contract 3 more years, and after that is look back and say, how nice I've been. That is the most important thing, by far. And I'm pretty sure most of the people we live this time together, we can feel it. That we can feel.
Pep, you always say that that fatigue, tiredness is always in the mind. It's always something mental. Is this last week something that your players should really enjoy, should really kind of cherish? Because that ultimately could be a really big kind of prize.
Yeah, I said many times when it happened, I knew that feeling in Barcelona and by Munich as well. But in Barcelona, for the first time, when you're at these stages and you play the note that is 90-95 minutes to extend or to win the titles or being there, you are tired, yes. So, for example, what happened last game, so we play against Crystal Palace, Brentford 3 days at Crystal Palace, and after 6-hour train, no recovery against that. It passed in November, December, maybe fatigue is much more, and maybe that game we don't feel it. But it's a final tomorrow. We are tired, yes, but the players the human being has an incredible ability to, when you are completely dead, if he is in the right spot, you do an extra run, an extra focus, an extra, you do it, for sure. And I'm pretty sure last 2 games, the players will give everything, even they are tired, or even they are going to the World Cup or on the holidays or whatever, they will do it, because it's 6 days, at the end of the season. So the players, they will do it. Even the fatigue is there. So we cannot deny it for the amount of games in the last games, especially the players they played. The players they don't play, they don't have that problem. Then, thank you.